I remember the first time we prayed to God to pay our rent. My two sisters and I were kneeling on the living room floor, listening to my mother cry. Afterwards, we dug for pennies in the couch, and I was convinced that God must have a hearing problem because we lost our home anyway. Over the next few years, we would sleep on strangers' floors, in the back of our hair salon, in our car, because no matter how hard my mom tried, she couldn't do it alone with 3 girls. My mom used to love to braid my hair. She would always smell the soft spot on the back of my head. She said it was the spot that made me her baby no matter how old I was. She wanted us to smell good. She didn't want us to smell like dirt and soft rain because she was afraid that if we didn't smell good, our teachers wouldn't help us. I never had problems with my teachers not helping me. In fact, it was the opposite. I was the kid on the last day of kindergarten that got invited to her house to swim in her hot tub. I was the kid that loved school so much, I wore this turtleneck when I got the chicken pox just so I could keep going. In 2nd grade, I had this teacher named Mrs. Weaver. Mrs. Weaver had us make a doll named Flat Sammy. Flat Sammy looked just like me. She had golden yarn hair and a whole jean outfit. And I was proud of her. And Mrs. Weaver told us that we needed to give our doll to an adult that loved us. And that adult would take our doll with them everywhere and take pictures and write letters to me about their adventures. I didn't have anyone to give my doll to. So I gave mine to Mrs. Weaver. And she took that doll with her. And she wrote me letters about how they ate raw cookie dough together. And I imagined myself there with her in her kitchen, laughing with my sweet, flat Sammy. My sisters and I were left alone a lot as kids. And when we'd get tired of playing school, I would go outside and I would climb my favorite tree. And I would push my heart into that tree. Because for some reason, I always knew that there was more to life than listening to my mother's head hit the back of some man's palm claiming that he loved her. When I was in 8th grade, she went to jail. And I thought that there would be somebody that would be there to claim us, someone in our bloodline. But no one did. It was my best friend's mom who took my 2 sisters and I in so we wouldn't be separated. It was my 7th grade teacher who started to write me these beautiful letters, words of encouragement that I always needed. And she listened as I expressed my fears of becoming a mother figure to my 2 sisters. Years later, after she was released, we were getting ready to be homeless again. And I was a senior in high school, and I couldn't do it. I went to my principal at the time, and I said, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to drop out. And he said, wow, you've come this far, and you want to drop out. You have so much potential. Why don't you take school with you wherever you're going? And so I did. I did independent study across state lines, which is something they had never done before because he believed in me. I moved to Kansas, and I met this woman along the way who I call my Kansas mama. She took me to a college campus, and she asked me, why wasn't I here? She told me I was made of great things, that I could do this. You see, I could have been the girl with the needle in my arm. I could have been addicted to drugs. I could have been in the criminal justice system. I could have been homeless. I could have had children that I couldn't feed if I didn't have people all along the way telling me that I am strong, powerful, that resiliency rests in my bones. And my mom thought that this whole time that she was raising us on her own. And there were angels all along the way. Most people think they need to lead a march or start a movement to leave a legacy. But I am a living testament to the value of kindness, of telling someone that they are worth it, that you believe in them. And sometimes that can be just enough to save a life.